This is SLP by Day,
Author by Night,
with Tali, Kellerstein, and
Becca, Eisenberg,
bringing the SLP writing community
together.
Hi, I'm Tali Kellerstein, pediatric speech-language pathologist and founder of the Speak Boutique. I'm so excited to be co-hosting this podcast, SLP by Day, Author by Night, with my brilliant friend Becca Eisenberg, as we celebrate the stories and voices of SLPs who are changing the game through creativity and connection. You can learn more about my work at thespeakboutique.com. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. We read all your comments and would love to have your feedback. If you are an SLP author, please join our Facebook group, SLP by Day, Author by Night.
So welcome Sandy. Sandy Harberger is a licensed speech-language pathologist with over 20 years of experience in a variety of settings. Since graduating from Penn State, Sandy has worked in early intervention, preschool, school age, and pediatric outpatient rehabilitation. She has been the owner of Harberger Speech Therapy, LLC since 2011. Her area of expertise is with children ages 2 to 5 years old. She lives in York, Pennsylvania with her family. Her website is harbergerspeechtherapy.com, and that will also be in the description as well. She has self-published Time for Speech and the workbooks Time for Speech, my dot book, and Time for Speech, my cut and paste book. These books are available on Amazon and Ingram Spark. Digital downloads are available for the workbooks on Teachers Pay Teachers on timeforspeech.com. Her future projects are completing Time for Early Intervention, which will be out the beginning of 2026. Following that, there'll be Time for Eating, hopefully by the end of 2026. Sandy has written Time for Occupational Therapy and Time for Physical Therapy. These books will hopefully be illustrated by 2027. These books will incorporate community members in her town for the therapist character. So welcome, Sandy. Thank you so much for being here. And you're very ambitious because you've already got a couple of years planned out.
Thank you. Once I wrote Time for Speech, it made it easier to go through the other ones because they're all kind of walking through a first therapy session. Time for Speech starts with the child walking into the speech therapy room and meeting me and what we're going to do. And we talk a little bit about the mouth because it kind of gets the parents involved. And then we talk about words and sounds. And then we end the session by cleaning up and getting homework. And I will see you next time, my friend. And so all of the kind of books follow that pattern. Early intervention will be in the home. Time for feeding will be more at the table. Occupational therapy and physical therapy will be in those therapy rooms, much like Time for Speech.
And it's not in a specific, like a clinic at school or a clinic. So any clinic would be able to reflect.
Yeah, mine is based off my clinic office. So it's more for like the preschoolers, not really like the school age settings that a lot of the other books are. So this is more like, private practice or one-on-one speech therapy.
So maybe you could start just telling us a little bit about how you got into writing children's books, and also about, how you found your illustrator and how that whole publishing process went for you.
Actually, it's really funny. It's the perfect time of year to talk about that. I was looking for books for Christmas for my students. And I was at the dollar store looking for books, and they didn't have really a great offering. And I was like, I can do better than this. And so that's kind of how I started writing, like that Christmas, kind of working like, what would I want to give my kids? What would I want my gift to look like? And that's kind of how I got started with that. I had a couple of friends who've self-published in different kind of genres. So I had some support in saying, how do I do this? And thankfully, Amazon KDP makes it simple enough to kind of do that yourself. Because my book isn't really the traditional children's book that kind of follows there's some tension and then there's a release and a climax. It's more really like a social story. So when finding my illustrator, I happened to be having a family who's big in the arts part of York, Pennsylvania. And I just kind of asked them, like, who do you recommend for this? And so I was given a couple names, and my illustrators is who I kind of met, and we seemed to be a good click based on her pictures. And she had speech therapy before. So I was like, all right, you've got some idea of what this story is talking about. So it was really a nice fit.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and she's new. She just graduated, so I was like really excited to help someone get started in what they really wanted to do. So it was kind of nice to be helpful in addition to getting the illustrations that I needed, because I tried. I really tried to draw it, and I could not do that. So
Oh, yeah, yeah.
it
It's
was I just
interesting
couldn't.
drawings, though. I think the illustration's really different. It's like
Yeah.
really, yeah. And I like that, you wrote a book. There's a few other books out there, but I think I think it's great for kids to know, because a lot of times kids don't know what speech therapy is.
Yeah.
And then to give them some sort of guide so that they know what to expect. I think even parents don't know
Yes.
what speech therapy is. Yeah, a lot of adults ask me. So, and
Right.
it's such a broad field.
Right.
One
Can
of the
look off.
questions I had for you was, you didn't just write a children's book, but you also written like activity books.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I wanted to get into that because I feel
Yeah.
like I have like kind of dabbled a little bit in that. Because, I mean, I'm always on Canva, we're
Yes.
all creative people. Like we just love to like just do stuff all the time. So I'm
Absolutely.
curious about how I love the dot, but like I think it's a really cool what you did. And I wanted to know, like how you thought of it, how you created it, and then, like the process of publishing it.
Yeah, during COVID, we all had a little extra time. And I really kind of revamped my therapy style during COVID. Like before, it was like, open the door. What do you want to do? Which, leads to like, I want that game or maybe that one. So then I really simplified to, all right, every 2 weeks, I'm going to have a different theme. So I made all of these worksheets to go with my theme for every 2 weeks so that my toys were all getting used, not just the favorite ones. And we were changing it up so it wasn't boring. So during COVID is when I kind of created all of these homework sheets on Canva. And then when I was getting ready to do time for speech, I wanted to practice uh, self-publishing a book on a book that didn't like matter. Not that it didn't matter, but wasn't
Yeah.
as stressful as like, oh, my children's book.
Yeah, yeah.
And this one, they're really easy to self-publish workbooks on Amazon.com. And so I've got my cut and paste book, and I've got my dot book. The dot book is really the favorite. The cut and paste I do a lot for the language component. I'm working on a sequencing one now, but that's taken a little bit longer because you got the 4 sequences that I want to get in there. But I highly recommend it because it comes out. It's a nice little workbook. It's something that parents can have if they want to do homeworks at home. If kids find that motivating for them. They are best downloaded. So that's why I went through Teachers Pay Teachers so that you can download it and not get a book because, we all are going to photocopy and use them with our kids. So I wanted to make sure that it was an easy way to use our pictures.
So if people are purchasing them on Amazon, then they come as a physical workbook,
yeah,
like
they
a
come
print
like
on demand.
really nice.
Oh, beautiful. And can you show us the
Yeah.
inside of the My Cut and Paste? I'm curious how
Yeah,
they...
and is it perforated so that you could pull the page out or no? Yeah.
It's not. I did not know how to get that to
Oh, okay.
happen.
No, because I wanted to ask you. It's like, if
Yes.
I
you
don't
could
think on
figure that
Amazon.
out, then let me.
I was able to get it so the back didn't have anything on it because I really hate when like
Right. Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't pull it out.
Yeah.
You could destroy the whole thing and then have them all separated.
But
So
I
it's
like
almost
that. I
like
think
this
that's such a
theme
really cool idea
with the
because,
little pieces. And some of my kids like them better than others.
Yeah.
I laminated them all, and then there's the
Velcro.
no, I didn't use Velcro. I used this glue, this tacky glue that
Yeah.
doesn't so it's more like the
Like the
little
dot glue
glue dots.
almost?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
glue dots. So
Yeah.
they're all glue dotted, so you can use them as long as that glue dot stays on. Although I do have some fun kids that are like, let's peel that off. And I'm like, well, It out. You gotta put that back on. So it's been really helpful for a lot of my different kids, even some kids that just need to figure out how to sit for an activity. Here's a
Yeah.
activity of like, all right, I want you to sit for this thing, and we're just putting the stickers on. And we can extend the sit time a little bit longer. So these are all things that I've been using for the last 5 years, and I just kind of bound them up so that I could practice on Amazon, and they make it really easier. It's definitely easier to do like the workbook type books for self-publishing than the more complicated illustrations.
Do you
Just
format them all on KDP? You format them all on Amazon, so you don't need a separate
yeah,
formatter, and then you put them all. I've never
yeah,
done that. It was always like a daunting process, but now
yeah.
you're making it sound like
Easy. I
very
mean, it was
inviting.
trial and error. But
Yeah.
yeah, everything I did on Canva, and it is, I think, a PDF, and then you upload it
Right.
to Amazon KDP. The hardest part is like the cover is separate, and
Mm.
you get the front and the back.
Okay.
But a lot of people are wonderful on things like Etsy. So if you need a particular template, I mean, for $3, you can have a template that's formatted correctly. That made it a lot easier for
Beautiful.
me. And so I didn't have to sit and figure out the size of everything. And people are great sharing their templates like that. I mean, for $3, you can kind of cut your work in half.
I'm curious because you have sort of two markets, right? Like you have the books which are more the social story type of
Yes.
introduction to therapy, and the activity books. And the introduction to therapy, I imagine, would appeal more to also therapists or parents coming for the first time. But the activity books would have a broad market. Do you have any way of knowing from the broader market if they're hitting mostly parents or if they're still coming to therapists or
I think it's mostly parents.
uh,
But it's kind of 50-50. I can't really tell. I can only tell a little bit, I mean, that first month, is all family and friends who are being
yeah.
kind. And then afterwards I sell like maybe one or two a month, which has been nice. I think most families are coming for like, especially the dot book. Doppers are really
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
popular.
could you show us the dot book? I'm really, because I know you showed us some of because the kids
Mhm.
love the dots.
Right. And
Oh,
it's
beautiful.
So it's like yeah, yeah. And then,
And then I have on it just like, a couple questions, what my practice sound is or my practice word, just on the sides if you use it in therapy, so you can write down, what you want your parent to do at home, or the practice questions, just to give parents an idea of like, all right, you're doing this dot book. How can we pull some language and some
right, right.
into
No,
it?
I like that.
It'd be a
Um,
great gift for new clinicians as well because
yeah.
I love doing dot activities with my
And I do
kids.
have the time for speech. I made it like a mini. So it's like kind of, 5 by 6.
Yeah,
It has less of the parent information in the back, just because it's better for like a gift.
yeah,
Um, Kind of brought the price down a little bit so that if therapists wanted to give it as a Christmas gift, there was like a smaller version.
nice.
Um, I wanted to get it down to $1, but it's just not how the world
Oh
works.
wow. That would
Wow,
be
Not
that's
that
very
would be
generous.
amazing. That
not
would,
how I
I
can't
mean, how
figure
would
out how
that
to
even
get
be
it done.
possible though? That
Right, because I found it, at the dollar store, there are
I
dollar
know. No, going back to the dot, that would be pretty,
really what I
But
want to do, but I
that would be
haven't been able
amazing.
to figure out
the
where.
dollar store can do that only because they're ordering such massive quantities, right? And so their
Yeah,
unit price is so small. But
yeah.
for us, like it's such a risk to take. We can't,
Right. Like I can't do
order
like
that.
10,000 books and hope for the best and mail them
Yeah.
out. So it's
But these
just,
are print on demand also, right? The time for speech.
I don't have the time for speech on print on by demand.
Ah, okay.
But
Who
the
did you
time
go
that
through to publish? Was that through Ingram Spark?
Ingram Spark, yes, because stores like Borders and Barnes and Nobles will only go through Ingram Spark. So I did
Ah,
that.
okay, okay.
I do that second because Ingram Spark is a little, if you need to change anything, you have to pay.
Right.
For one, whereas on Amazon, you can constantly change it. Like if I find an
Exactly.
error, I was like, well, and I can go
Can
back and.
can we backtrack? Because I think for some people who are kind of new to publishing, a lot of these terms we're throwing out, KDP, Ingram Spark, like
Yes.
all these will be
Yeah, I
completely
know. We all
unfamiliar to
know the
them.
acronym. We all
Right.
know. I think that
But
would be,
since you've gone through them, can you kind of define for somebody where you start with Ingram Spark, what it does, where
Yeah.
you start with KDP, what it does, and
Yeah. Amazon KDP is Kindle Publishing Direct, maybe?
Direct. Yeah,
Kindle
yeah, yeah.
Direct
No, I
Publishing?
know because I just know KDP.
Right.
So,
So I started there because it's Amazon and everyone feels safe using Amazon.
Mhm.
You can get Amazon Prime and
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
all
yeah.
that's better. And you can change as much as you can, and you just go in, you make your account, and it's really very user friendly. You just put it here, upload here, click, 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 and it'll be, they check it, and then like within 74 hours or 72 hours, you've got your book up there, which is kind of cool. Bookstores don't use Amazon KDP for whatever reason. They've decided they use Ingram Sparks. And that's not as user friendly, but once you've done it through Amazon, it works easier on Ingram Sparks. Same idea, you make your account, you upload it, and they have their specific things that they want. So you click on, do I want it glossy? Do I want it matte? Do I want it this size or that size? And then it uploads it. And then if you go on to Borders, you can see, which is exciting. I can see my book because they're at
Yeah.
Borders, not like on their shelf, but like on their website, which is just as good for me at this point. Because my genre is so I need to find a family that has a kid with speech therapy or a speech therapist. So like it's hard to go to bookstores and be like, hey, you want my book? Because they're like, it's like 3 people that might come into my bookstore in like a month. So so it's been really neat to be able to get my book out there uh since the people I'm looking for are really small.
Yeah. No, that thank you. That's great. Like, and for the two services, how does it work to pay? Do you pay just when you sign up, or is it a subscription for each of them?
Oh, it's free. It's free. You don't have
Amazing.
to pay at all. You pay if you want to buy your book. So
Uh-huh.
to have copies of my books, I had to pay for them, and you have to pay for shipping. So they get you so you have it a little bit less. So you pay like maybe half price and then adding shipping. So I only have like a small amount of books with me at a
Yeah.
time. Um, and same with Ingram Spark. I think I've only ordered 1 or 2 just to check how it looked, but you just order at the author price, and they don't print your book until somebody buys it. So they
Right.
don't have a
Right.
bunch of my
It's on
books sitting
demand.
Right,
around.
right. It's
If
mhm.
somebody clicks, I want that, then they print it and send it out.
And it's soft cover only, right? For both of them?
Yes, it's soft cover. I think if I wanted to do hardcover, you have to have more pages. Um,
Ah, okay.
And I haven't looked at hardcover for Ingram Spark, but I think you have to have more pages to do a hardcover.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that on KDP with the hardcover, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure. Like I've never done it before. But
Yeah, I
then
haven't
for other
either.
people too, that increases the price.
it does.
So
And you
that's
don't want it to be
another kind
super
of
expensive. Like I'm
yeah.
going for a
Hmm.
dollar, but I do have it. This one is on Kindle.
Mhm.
You
Hmm.
could just not buy it and just read it to your kids
Oh
on
yeah, but
your.
it's a free download on Kindle.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Okay, beautiful.
yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, that's another nice idea that people forget about, I think, is, just using Kindle to be able to just read books like online and stuff too. Because I think a lot of times, like in schools, we forget that we could also use Kindle,
yeah. It's nice. Nice
because we
option.
just don't, I think it's like not utilized. I don't know, at least like what I've seen, it's not utilized as much in the school, but I think it's really nice to have.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing even like a reading for a whole class to have
Oh,
it like
yeah.
on the screen
Yeah.
is really nice. So you wrote Time for Speech first, and then you did the workbooks after.
I did the workbooks first. I wrote it first. Yes, I wrote it. And while my illustrator was illustrating, is when I put together my workbooks.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, and I think it's also like I think it's motivating for other people because like as therapists, we're constantly creating stuff.
yes.
Um, and it's because you're also on teachers. I'm also on Teachers Pay Teachers, and it's
Right.
like one of those things that I think it's a really good thing, even just to start, like because you start creating and start kind of adding it to whatever it is, whether you're doing it on doing it on KDP, whether you're doing it, with Ingram Spark, or you do it on Teachers Pay Teachers. It's just nice to be able to get your stuff out there and know that other people are using them.
Yeah.
I think I don't know, it's really, and there's so much other stuff of other people's stuff that I use as well. So it's like just that's like kind of brings it back to, because Tali and I talk a lot about just the community of speech.
Mhm.
Um, and now we're all kind of like sharing and helping each other. And it's really interesting. We give each other ideas because all of us like to create stuff. You have to be, if you're in the field, you have to be creative. I think because all the kids like different stuff, right? So you have to
Well,
always
you're in
like
this
be
part of the field for sure.
constantly.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
have to be constantly like people are like, why do you have so much stuff? I'm like, I have a bag per kid because each kid likes different stuff. So, but I love that idea of you using all your toys
Yes.
because I think there are certain kids who like certain things.
Hmm.
And for the traveling therapist, like the one who doesn't have their office, like I'm like the traveling person.
Yes.
It is really nice to have some sort of theme where you have your book and you're kind of going along with the theme. And I like the fact that even with like the cut and paste book, like you're pulling out a page or you're photocopying, whatever it
Yeah.
is, they're doing that one activity, and there's so much language that could go
Yeah,
into that.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
kids love that interactive part of like doing things like that. And
Yeah.
there's just so much language to it as well. I'm just even thinking with like A and
Moving
C,
through
there's
the
so many core words
moving
that you
through
can
the
do.
session a little bit better. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we do this and now we do this.
Hmm.
And it kind of breaks it up for them and gets to
Sandy,
different.
we had jumped right into publishing when we started, but we actually didn't talk about your speech journey and
Hmm.
Yeah.
what your practice was like, and that led you to being the author.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the thing about speech therapy that's really neat is that you can kind of do a lot of different things. I
Yeah.
started out in the schools doing preschool classrooms, and that was great. I did that for many years, and then I moved to the medical setting and did outpatient speech therapy, and then twice a week that clinic had early intervention. So that's where I kind of jumped into the early intervention setting where I did early intervention twice a week and in the clinic 3 times a week. And then somewhere along the line, you kind of want to do your own thing. And I kind of developed Harberger Speech Therapy way back in 2011, which
Mm.
feels like yesterday, but is really a long time ago now. And then I started, like you, I started going into the homes is how I started with Harberger Speech Therapy while still working in the pediatric outpatient rehab, as you slowly build up. And then I took on early intervention for a few years as well. And now I'm just in the clinic at my office seeing kids. So,
Amazing.
yeah.
What's
So
the
now
age
you
range of
dabble.
who you see?
I see, usually is like 2 years of age to like 5, usually at kindergarten. They're ready to kind of go to school, and I don't have very many after school hours. And kindergarten is a hard year to go
Yeah.
a full day and then have more speech therapy afterwards because we're not as fun as like occupational therapy or physical therapy. We're really more kind of like sitting with school. As much as I try to get them jumping and moving around after a whole day of school, it's hard to kind of work more language and more sounds.
Yeah.
So those kids usually come back in the summer. But every now and then, I'll have a couple teenagers come, or I'll have a couple little babies come. Just it kind of ebbs and flows depending on what the needs are. Usually my older kids are in the summer for like a big, 12-week chunk of speech therapy while the school's out.
Yeah. 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 I have a few of those too. And while teachers can bring their kids.
Yes,
If
right.
they have the summer off. My
Right.
teachers can never bring their kids during the year.
I know it's really hard because I'm
Yeah.
tired at the end of the day too. But as my family gets older, then it'll be easier for me to like maybe not work mornings, maybe I'll work evenings to kind of
Right.
accommodate the older families now that I have that flexibility.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Right.
Um,
There was something I wanted to ask you just about your future
Mhm.
like books that you were working on. So that's going to be with the same illustrator, right?
Oh,
Is
I
that
hope
like the sort of the
so.
same format and same idea that you were going to continue with?
Yeah, so same illustrator so that it kind of meshes in the set. Instead of it being me as the therapist, because on Time for Speech, I'm like, the main
Mhm.
therapist there. I'm reaching out to other speech therapists for early intervention and for the feeding book, and reaching out to an occupational therapist and a physical therapist because don't actually have the credentials to write that book, but so that I can have them be the speech or be the occupational therapist, the character in the book,
Mhm.
which then gives them ability to like, hey, do you want to market your book in the back of my book or market your business in the back of my book?
Mhm.
What do you want to tell the families? So for them, I'm offering them, here, you have a couple pages and what do you want to say? I mean, nobody wants to have a whole set of Miss Sandy. So that kind of gets the community involved and then gets them an ability to market as well.
It's a
Right.
great idea and a very nice way to tie in community. And I also think like when we yes, the general public population is not spending a lot of time in speech therapy. We have
Right.
a piece of a portion of the kids, but the portion of the kids that do go to therapy, for a lot of them, that's a long time investment and it's a big part of their life. And when we think about books that otherwise address environments that kids are in, like books that are in the classroom or books that are in the playground or, books that are a part of a kid's lives, um, we're only, I think a lot of the authors in this group, sort of dabbling into that area of having a way to express this part of kids' lives where they're
Yeah.
in therapy. And for a lot of those kids, it's a big portion of their
Mhm.
lives. For a lot of, I think we almost become like family for them. Like
Yes.
my kids know
Right.
this
They
is
want me to
Tally's
go to
word,
their
this is
birthday
Tally's thing.
party.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then also like for me, like I see kids for years and years and years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I don't, because there's some populations where there is no, like you don't finish speech,
Yeah.
but you just kind of continue with it.
Pushing them forward and
Exactly. And I just also want to say a lot of kids who are getting speech therapy are also getting OT and PT.
yes.
Like
Right.
it's not
Yeah.
uncommon that they're getting all of those. So I think it's a really nice series and there's a lot of different things you could do with that.
Thanks.
Um but I wanted to just also because I don't know like how much time we have. I do want to talk about the marketing part of
Yes.
it because we're kind of asking that to each of our guests. Just about like what that journey's been like because marketing is different for everybody and what you found to be helpful to you as far as like selling your books. And so, yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you about.
Marketing is hard, as we didn't go to school for marketing. It's all
Exactly, that's right. I'm like,
very
I didn't get the marketing class at Penn
Senior.
State, did you?
no.
Yeah, I should have
And
taken it.
the stuff that I thought would work didn't work. Like I'm a note card person. Like, oh, I get them note cards. I send the note cards or the postcards to the doctors and to the pediatricians and to the daycare. So I send out and that doesn't, people don't really look at their postcards anymore. That just goes in the trash. And so I've kind of been resisting like the Instagram marketing and social media. But that is how it works now. So I'm just starting to get into marketing on Instagram and doing my posts and checking out the different posts that you can do. So like my goal for was like, okay, between now and December and Christmas, I'm going to post every day. And then after that, I'll post every week because that's crazy. That's a lot of posting.
What's your handle? Just so people can we can direct you.
Harberger Speech.
Perfect.
And our community is wonderful, really. I had like 100 followers, and then I just started following every speech therapist, and everyone follows back. I mean,
Yeah, I know. We have a good
amazing.
community
Yeah.
because, yeah, you do. A lot of times yeah, and it's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, like I have 400 speech therapists now following me, which is just amazing. It's a really good feeling to know that like we have each other's back and we're going to support each other. And then I can that's where like the young speech therapists are that I can be like, hey, these are some books that you might want in your repertoire for like your first speech therapy session for kids, or maybe you can download and then take them home. And if I could ever get it to $1, I promise I will keep trying. So it's been a really neat way to start looking at marketing.
Yeah.
I did I'm ready to do like vendors. So I got my table, my speech therapy little tablecloth. So I did one, but it was far away. I think it would be better if I did one that was closer to York. And that's a nice way to kind of sell your book as well.
Do you do mostly the activity books when you're going for those, or
I
you
do, and kids really loved sitting at I had a little kids table, and they all had the daubers, and that was like a big hit.
Yeah, I can see that being a hit for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
And I sold a couple digital because there was a bunch of speech therapists there, and I was like, no, digital. Go, you want the digital version so you can download it and print.
Mhm.
So that was a really nice experience to kind of figure that out and what it encompasses to be part of a vendor event. So it was
you
neat. I'm
price
glad
differently out of curiosity? So your activity books are available in two places. So you have it in Teachers Pay Teachers and on Amazon. Do you
Yes.
price it differently for the digital download versus the
I
print?
do. Digital download, I think it's just $5.99, whereas in print, I think it might be $10,
Uh-huh.
just because it's,
You get the physical copy in
I mean,
the
either
print.
way, it works for me. Um, I had to go through Teachers Pay Teachers because my website, I had to pay like a subscription to sell
Yeah,
on my website, and I
yeah,
wasn't going to make enough to make
yeah,
a subscription worth it at this point. So
yeah.
Teachers Pay Teachers was the easiest route to get it to everybody that might want to have it.
Exactly. Yeah. I also think that's another I just want to bring up because Teachers Pay Teachers is another great way to get
Mhm.
your stuff out there. In a different kind of, I think in a different kind of way of sharing, I think.
Yeah.
And there's some stuff that I think there was one thing I put on Amazon once, and I was like, you know what, that is more of something I put in my Teachers Pay Teacher store, not on Amazon. So I
Yeah.
think the more you do it and you go through the different process, you kind of figure out, or like how you did it, you have it on Amazon, but then you have the download on Teachers Pay Teachers, which is
Yeah.
really nice.
Do you redirect on your Amazon? Do you let people know if you want the digital version of this?
No,
It's
I don't. But I was just thinking as you were talking, like I should probably put that in my book. Like I should put that somewhere. There's things that, yeah.
Is
You're
it
very
easy to edit
Well,
once
there's
you
a
have
lot of,
the
when we're talking, there's a lot of things that we
right. I'm like,
actually do
oh,
that.
I can edit that. Yes, it's easy to edit on Amazon KDP. You
Mhm.
have to pay to edit on I'm sorry, Ingram Spark.
Ingram? Okay. Oh, that's good to know. So if you wanted to add your extra link or whatever, you just go in and edit and do that.
Yeah.
That's very flexible. That's really
It
nice.
is. I appreciate that because you could look at the same thing like 100 times, and five people could look at
Exactly.
that, and I can still, there's still a weird word.
Yeah.
So it's been really nice to be able to fix those
It
as they
is.
come
And
up.
a lot of times it takes less than 7. Sometimes it could even just be within a few hours that they'll update it, which is
Yeah.
also really nice.
Yeah.
I also like that flexibility with Amazon, that you could go and like update it if you
Hmm.
want to. And it is very user friendly. I think the one thing about Amazon is that you can't actually delete something from
Right.
like if you decide to unpublish it, it will remain on Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh,
Unless
okay.
that
See, I
is
have one on there that's not available anymore because I was messing around trying to get that small mini size.
yeah.
Mm.
And it didn't quite look right. So there is one that's unpublished, Time for Speech that's unpublished as I was trying to figure out the mini size because that was um it's just different to
Mhm.
take a 8 by 8 and then kind of shrink it down to what I wanted it to, for more of like a little mini book for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea. That's cute. And I love I mean, we're really talking today about series or last cast, but just
Yeah.
I like that you're kind of like a book for each, kind of discipline. I think is really it's really interesting. So,
Yeah, because when I was looking, there's like a million Time for Doctor books or the dentist or haircut
yes.
books, but there really isn't many for our field, of Time for Therapy of any sort.
Right.
There's a couple speech therapy like in the school settings, but there wasn't any for like the littler kids. So it's just I wanted to make sure that everybody had a say in the set.
Yeah.
All of the multidisciplinary
Mhm.
members are there because I think
And I mean, even within speech, like the social skills one and feeding, and like there's so many.
Because they're different.
They're so
early
different.
intervention is completely different. That one's more like parent involved, whereas feeding one, that's a different ball game where you're talking about foods and chewing and it's different. So I enjoyed kind of changing things up to kind of address those differences in speech therapy.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, we have different options, which is the next part of our profession, although it can get overwhelming if you want to be good at everything.
I think as you kind of more years in the field, you do tend to, there's certain types of speech therapy that you like to, I don't know, for me, it's always been like that. Certain things you like, because the field of speech pathology is so big. And I think that's what a lot of people outside, that's why I think your book would also help, just parents understand it too, because people only think it's just speech.
Right. And there's
articulation. And it's so broad. Yeah. So is there anything else that you want to talk about before we wrap up?
No, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk about my books and my workbooks. It's been a really fun process that I've had a lot of fun with and enjoyed. And I absolutely hope a lot of speech therapists get creative and make books as well, because I think it's been a nice part of rounding out my career.
Thank you so much for being here. We also learned a lot from you, and it was really great having you on.
Thank you so much, Sandy.
This is SLP by Day,
Author by Night,
with Tali Kellerstein
and Becca Eisenberg,
bringing the SLP writing community
together.